Hey everyone, today I'll be reviewing my new 4.0 Reimagined MOC JIMI. Here's what the actual JIMI 4.0 set looked like. Now, I'm just going to go ahead and say this up front. I did not have enough blue for this build. Just so you can see how much blue I have left, this container is basically all of the usable blue pieces that I have. And so I had to make a lot of changes to the JIMI 4.0 build. Instead of using trans blue on his stomach, I had to use Lego dark blue, like the navy blue. And really, Hero Factory doesn't have a lot of useful pieces in that color, so unfortunately, his chest and a little bit of his back have to be built up with Lego pieces. I went ahead and took his gun out of his hand. We'll look at that later on in the review. But to kickstart the actual review, we'll just start off with the legs since they're not super interesting. I don't really dislike these legs per se, but they're definitely not my favorite in this 4.0 Reimagined series. I think Furno has better looking legs because they're a lot thicker and more detailed. I did a little bit of detailing on the legs. There's really not much, as you can see. I like this bionicle armor plate piece, though. That works pretty well with these big dish pieces. The feet are good. Unfortunately, the pieces that connect them to the legs are kind of loose, so he can topple over easily if you don't set him up right. I really need to just order a lot of very firm ones of these pieces. I don't remember their exact classification at the moment. I like this Hero Factory dish armor plate. I use that on either side. And I'll kind of raise the camera so I can get a wider shot of the legs. But they look pretty good. I only use like 3 Lego pieces per leg, and I think that's alright. Sometimes I use a lot more Lego pieces on limbs than I probably should. Really, I only use them if I need to round off a design and if I have to. Like, I had to use Lego pieces on his stomach because I don't have any other types of dark blue. Now, moving on to his arms, I just wanted to go ahead and point out something. So, if you remember right, JIMI 4.0 was sound themed. So he had this speaker mounted onto his arm. So I tried to imitate that with this bionicle armor plate piece, and I think it actually looks pretty good and like it could pass for a speaker. Unfortunately, this isn't in dark gray, and I couldn't find one in dark gray. I don't know if they make them, and also I don't really paint pieces, so I wasn't willing to paint them. Unfortunately, it's silver, but sometimes sacrifices have to be made. Besides that, I think the whole design looks pretty good. The back is a little flat, which I actually think is a good thing. Kind of goes with the whole flow of this build since he's kind of smooth, and I think that actually works out pretty well. I like the elbow. Unfortunately, it can move a little bit. I could have fixed that with some pieces running along here, but I didn't exactly want to gum up the whole underside and just add too many unnecessary pieces just to fix a small problem. I like the design of the forearms. They look really good in my opinion. I like this area right here. It's not too gappy. Really, the only gap is right in there, but that's just so his arm can go up and down. I like this build. I like the arm builds. I think they're designed pretty well. And they took me probably only 20 minutes. And that's not counting parts that I had to find. But I really like the overall design of the arms. I'll go ahead and review the body. Then after that, I'll review the gun separately. I like just the overall shaping of his body. I like these little armor extensions on either side. Those go along with his shoulder plates pretty well. I believe these came from 3.0 originally. I don't remember which guy they came from, though. I used some gears right here, but besides that, there's utterly no detail in there besides this little pipe piece. But no intended detail that's supposed to look good. I like the core right here. It's framed up nicely. I like how it kind of fades from blue to black right as it goes to his legs. I think that looks pretty good. The sloping continues to the back, and I use Thornrax's head right here to kind of give some extra detail on his back. I do really like this build. I don't think He's super good in terms of copying how Jimmy 4.0 looks. I like how he looks, but he doesn't look very accurate to me. Now moving on to his gun. I really like the gun. It's simple though in its design. It doesn't use too many pieces and it looks pretty nice. I used Jimmy's top half of his meteor blaster for basically a guard for the bottom barrel right here. That looks pretty good. I like the use of this big silver wire. I put some gears right here too. Those don't actually do anything, but they look cool. Then I put a bionicle armor plate piece, and that slopes nicely into the jet piece. Also, the muffler right here makes a good kind of pipe design. I like how the gun looks. It's a pretty simple design, but I think it works well. If you remember, Jimmy 4.0's gun was actually, I believe, supposed to be a guitar, just how it was designed, but I didn't keep that design. Here are the other 4 heroes in 4.0 that I've built so far. I still have, I think, 4 more to go, because I still have Surge, Rocka, Breeze, and Stormer. But here are the 5 that I've built so far and that have been reviewed. And so if you'd like to see their reviews, I'll leave a link in the description. Also, Toxic Reaper, Core Hunter, Jawblade, and XT4 have also all been reviewed, but I couldn't fit them all in shot. So if you'd like to see their reviews, I'll also leave a link in the description for their reviews too. So all of these guys are part of a project called 4.0 Reimagined, and that's just where I'm rebuilding every set from 4.0 in my own style, trying to make them as cool as possible.